This is part 2 of our Spam series, and today I'll be showing you my favorite way to make meatballs. This recipe is super versatile and you can personalize it depending on whatever you have in your fridge. I started off this time with pounding up some dried chilies and garlic. You can chop it if you'd like. And then I'm peeling the skin off of ginger with a spoon, and I'll add that ginger to the mortar and pestle as well. And after you're finished chopping or pounding that up, you're just going to set it aside for later. Next, you'll roughly dice an onion. I'm using one whole onion for about 2 pounds of meat. Because I'm using Spam for this and it's pretty chunky, I decided I wanted to use my blender to grind it up a little bit more. And to this I added 1 egg, a little bit of my Spam, and some of the onion. I'm just doing a little bit at a time here to not overload the blender. I also added my chili paste, and now you're just going to blend that on high and try to get everything incorporated and homogeneous. Now, if you're just using ground beef, you can skip the blending and just mix this by hand in a bowl. So here we have our blended concoction, and I'm just going to do this in batches so that I can use up all my Spam. So my favorite meatballs are always ones that are stuffed with fresh herbs. So here I'm taking some old cilantro stems and then some parsley that I have and mincing that up really fine. You never want to throw away your herb stems because they actually have a ton of flavor. And you can substitute whatever herbs that you might have in your fridge. I like to add a few more aromatics, so here I'm toasting a tablespoon of black peppercorn, 2 tablespoons of coriander, and 1 tablespoon of cumin. I'm blending it up and adding it to the mixture. I'm also adding a little bit of freshly grated nutmeg, and I'm going to mix that all together. And finally, I'll add a few breadcrumbs to help bind everything together. You can use whatever breadcrumbs or stale bread that you have. And now we can go ahead and shape them. I rolled mine into balls and then flattened the balls with a spoon just so that I could have a flat side on the meatball to sear. But you can shape them however you'd like. And so after I finish forming them, I'm going to put them in the fridge and let them rest for 30 minutes. And when you're ready to cook them, heat up some oil in your pan and start frying them. You want to make sure your oil is hot enough when you put them down, and you also want to leave them until they form a nice brown crust, and it'll be easier to get them off of the pan. You can also see that I'm swirling the oil towards the meatball when I lay it down just because my stovetop is a little bit uneven. You want to make sure you have enough oil so they don't stick. And there you go, my version of meatballs, which are great in spaghetti sauce or on a sandwich or even as a side dish.